The story progresses with the revelation that The New Gate is a state-of-the-art VR MMORPG. In this immersive virtual world, players can embark on endless adventures, selecting from 7 unique species to create their avatars. They can become blacksmiths, wealthy merchants, or warriors battling powerful monsters, exploration, and creativity. Real quick, before we get back to this recap, remember to like and subscribe to the video. One day, the game transforms into a death game, trapping players inside and preventing them from logging out. Our protagonist, Shin, fights relentlessly to clear the game and free everyone. He finally confronts the final boss, and his support characters urge him to be careful, hoping to see him again. Shin engages in a fierce battle with the final boss, managing to cut off its wing, but it regenerates. After a grueling fight, Shin depletes most of the boss's HP and defeats it with one of his skills. An announcement confirms the dungeon has been cleared and players can now log out. Relieved, Shin checks a scroll to ensure everyone is logging out and watches names disappear until he is the last one left. Attempting to log out, a gate appears behind him, which shouldn't be there according to the game's rules. Shin finds himself in a hyper-realistic grassland that feels too real to be part of the game. He checks the menu, sees improved stats, and realizes there is no option to log out. He discovers his scroll no longer connects to the network, raising doubts about whether this is reality. Determined to figure things out, Shin uses an item to locate his home base. On his way, he notices a giant walled city that wasn't there before. At his house, he encounters men dragging a girl, Tiara Lucent, out of the barrier surrounding it. A monster attacks, and while the men flee, Shin saves the girl. Inside the house, Tiara thanks Shin and asks if he knows her master, mentioning Schnee Razor, a name Shin recognizes as one of his support characters. Surprised that the Moon Sanctum still exists, Shin confirms they are talking about the same person. Tiara can't disclose her master's whereabouts, but offers to relay a message for 1,000 jewels. Shin shows her a jail coin, learning it's a rare and valuable item only kings and certain elders can use. Tiara explains the significance of gold jail coins, worth at least 10 billion Jews, and Shin mentions he is a high human. Tiara reveals that high humans went extinct long ago, during an event called the Dusk of Prosperity, 500 years ago. Shin realizes this world is centuries ahead of the game's timeline. Grateful for the information, Shin gives Tiara the jail coin, which she hesitates to accept, but finally does. She explains that black-haired elves are considered cursed, leading to frequent monster attacks and her being cast out of her village. Her master saved her and set up a barrier around the place. Shin suspects her curse and uses his analysis skill to discover it's a cursed gift, causing her hair to turn black and attract monsters. He removes the curse with his Purify skill, partially restoring her silver hair. Encouraged, Tiara exits the barrier with Shin, and for the first time in a century, she is not attacked by monsters. She marvels at the vast sky. Returning to the Moon Sanctum, Tiara thanks Shin and gives him a letter of introduction to help him enter the Barak Kingdom without inspection. She trusts him because he lifted her curse. Shin decides to explore the nearby town and seek information, hoping to find more of his support characters. In the Kingdom of Barak, Shin's letter of introduction earns him an escort into the kingdom. He heads to the Adventurers Guild to register and meets Celica, the receptionist, and her twin sister, Celica. After registering, he waits at a tavern and learns it takes a whole day to make a guild card. Celica approaches Shin, curious about his letter of introduction. She leads him to the guildmaster, Barlu Hine, who verifies the letter's authenticity. Barlu explains the powerful significance of letters of introduction, granting access and privileges across nations. He advises Shin to destroy it if he can't protect it, but Shin assures him of his capability. Barlu, recognizing Shin's potential, decides to test his skills. That night at an inn, Shin reflects on the day and plans to raise his rank the next day. He collects his guild card, noting the 9 adventurer ranks, with SS being the highest and G the lowest. Starting as a G-ranked adventurer, he takes a quest to harvest hilt grass. In the forest, despite searching for hours, Shin finds no hilt grass, but notices a high-level monster, a skull-faced jack, attacking a wagon. Realizing this must be the monster causing trouble, he engages it. Initially, his attacks are ineffective, but after turning off his limiters, he defeats it with a single powerful strike. The battle draws the attention of soldiers and Princess Ryan, who are intrigued by the mysterious great sword left behind by the monster. Shin is taken aback by the small size of the fox, as elementalis are typically enormous. Deciding to take the fox as his companion, Shin forms a partnership to hide its true nature, naming it Yue, which delights the fox. Meanwhile, Isne receives a magical letter from Tiara, leaving her curious about how Tiara obtained such an item. She opens the letter and is surprised by its contents. Returning to the guild, Shin plans to report the incident involving numerous skull faces, an unexpected occurrence. At the guild, twin sisters Celica and Celica argue over who should take Shin's report, with Celica eventually winning. After reporting, Shin checks the request board and notices a unique request from the church orphanage seeking a skill successor. Shin visits the church orphanage, impressed by its architecture. A nun named Tria greets him and takes him to see Millie, who warmly welcomes him. Tria, initially wary, realizes Shin is trustworthy. Shin confirms with Millie that Yua is the fox she wanted him to save. Millie thanks him, and he credits her information for the rescue. Tria explains her request. She needs someone with a purifying skill, a rare ability to teach it. Shin agrees to help if she provides information about Millie's powers and any significant events at the church. Tria reveals Millie has the Star Composer title, allowing her to foresee events accurately, which could be dangerous if known. Shin agrees to teach Lasha, a sister from the church, the purifying skill, and they prepare to battle high-level undead at the Ghost Plains. Avis, another adventurer, joins to ensure Lasha's safety. Despite his initial suspicion, Avis acknowledges Shin's good intentions due to Millie's trust. They set out the next day, and Shin handles the undead to allow Lasha to learn the purifying skill. Throughout their mission, Shin proves his capabilities, gaining Avis's reluctant trust. Amidst their efforts, Shin receives another message from Tiara, indicating Shni's imminent return and her master's interest in him. As they progress deeper into the plains, confronting higher-level undead, Shin and Avis work together to protect Lasha and complete the quest. Their journey reveals more about the new world, the significance of Millie's powers, and the importance of forming alliances to navigate the challenges ahead. During their exploration, Shin learns that the church orphanage is under threat from a new priest who only cares about money. They push further into the Ghost Plains, overcoming barriers and high-level monsters to achieve their goal. Throughout their mission, Shin and Avis develop a mutual respect, understanding that cooperation is key to their success. As they near the end of their mission, Shin reflects on the journey's trials and the allies he's made. With the purifying skill learned and the orphanage's future secured, Shin prepares for the next challenge, ready to face whatever the new world throws at him with his newfound companions by his side. In this scene, the soldiers express their gratitude to her for saving them. She humbly credits her victory over the monster to their efforts in weakening it first. One soldier notes that for the past month, undead creatures have been escaping the Ghost Plains, prompting elite units to handle them. He is astonished that she managed to defeat one on her own, acknowledging her strength as someone who once earned the favor of a high human. She inquires if this was the last monster, and he confirms it, though she decides to continue searching the area and asks them to use the magic signal she gave them if necessary. Later, Wilhelm easily defeats a skull-faced creature, with Laya delivering the finishing blow. Laya starts glowing, and Shin explains this indicates she has met the conditions to learn a new skill. Once the glow subsides, Wilhelm checks on her, and she confirms she's fine, noting that she suddenly gained knowledge of a new skill, likely Purify. Excited about her new ability, Laya expresses her joy at being able to save the orphanage now. Shin suggests a short break before returning to Barrack, but notices black magical matter in the air.
Wilhelm explains this matter animates the undead and can form a powerful skull-faced lord by draining lesser undead. A skull-faced lord with a level of 84 appears, and Wilhelm and Laya are alarmed, fearing it could devastate the nation despite the barrier protecting the area. The creature cracks the barrier, forcing them to consider fleeing. Surrounded by undead, Wilhelm suggests breaking through to escape, but Shin decides to stay and fight. He releases his limiter to prevent the monsters from causing further harm, and instructs Wilhelm to return to the kingdom with Yaha and Laya. Shin fights the undead, assisted by Yaha's foxfire, but new undead replace those he defeats. Using Thunderstrike, he clears some of them, drawing Shin's attention. She heads towards him. Reunited with Shin amid a field of flowers, Shin apologizes for leaving her and thanks her for watching the shop. She embraces him, welcoming him back, relieved he returned. Their reunion is cut short as undead surround them. They launch a combined spell, Sanctuary, which heals Yaha and kills weaker undead, but leaves the skull-faced lord unscathed. Shin then cuts the skull-faced lord in half with a sword strike. The creature, surprisingly able to speak, asks for Shin's power before dying. Shin laments not learning more about the monster. Shin and Schnee decide to chat elsewhere. He recounts his journey, including traveling 500 years into the future after defeating Origin and finding himself in a new world. Schnee is shocked but understands, explaining how the world changed after the players disappeared. She suggests they stop talking about sad topics and return to the Moon Sanctum. Introducing Yaha, Shin explains she is an element tail, a rare and powerful spirit. Schnee finds Yaha adorable and is impressed by Shin's unique ability to tame her. They set off to find their companions, hurrying to avoid causing a stir. Meanwhile, Wilhelm reassures Laya about Shin's strength, but is startled when Shin and Shenna arrive suddenly. Elsewhere, Rion investigates the battlefield where Shin fought. Soldiers report that the undead vanished after hearing a mysterious voice and being turned to dust by a powerful light. They find a sword with a falcon emblem, identifying it as the work of a high human blacksmith known for such craftsmanship. Ryan is intrigued, suspecting the involvement of a significant figure. The soldier explains his inability to substantiate his theory, but notes the presence of an extraordinary individual capable of treating high-level weapons as expendable. Ryan then considers that the Eben blacksmith might own the Moon Sanctum and suggests inquiring further upon returning to the kingdom. The soldier questions Ryan's intentions if a high human has indeed reappeared, and Ryan expresses her desire to duel him, also joking about marriage. The scene shifts to Wilhelm confronting Shin, questioning his presence with Schnee Razor, who rarely shows deference. Wilhelm queries about Shin's involvement in defeating the Skullface Lord and points his spear at Shin, accusing him of using immense magic. Shin is surprised by Wilhelm's knowledge and evades his attacks. Wilhelm demands answers, and Shin reveals his identity as a high human and Schnee's master. Wilhelm acknowledges this, understanding Shin's immense power. Shin inquires about records of high humans, and Wilhelm mentions their legendary strength and unique skills. Shin worries about potential complications if his identity is exposed and offers to reforge Wilhelm's spear, which Wilhelm declines. Leia wakes up, relieved to see Shin safe, and Schnee introduces herself. The group resumes their journey back to the kingdom. Shin tells Wilhelm they will part ways at the kingdom's gate. Wilhelm accepts this, as his task was solely to gain a needed skill, disassociating from further church matters. Upon arrival at the gates, Shin gives Wilhelm a message card for emergencies, but Wilhelm refuses, preferring not to involve outsiders. Shin insists, unwilling to abandon his first friend and the kids he protects, persuading Wilhelm to accept the card. At the Moon Sanctum, Shin, hungry, is invited to dinner by Schnee, and Tiara eagerly joins them. Tiara is surprised at Shin's presence, and Schnee reveals that Shin owns the Moon Sanctum, making him the legendary High Human. Tiara is taken aback, having thought Shin was joking, and apologizes for her familiarity. Shin reassures her and discusses Yuzuha, an elemental being, with Tiara.
They enjoy a meal prepared from rare and powerful ingredients, which exudes a visible aura, surprising Tiara. Shin explains the magical properties of these high-end ingredients. Shin learns the support characters have gone their own ways and agrees this is for the best. Tiara, slightly drunk, advises Shin to relax, and Schnee puts her to bed. Later, Shin wakes up to find Schnee crying in her sleep beside him. He gently wipes her tears, unsure of their meaning, but apologizes anyway. In the morning, Shin finds Yaha transformed into a girl. Embarrassed by her nakedness, he gives her suitable attire, and they join Schnee and Tiara for breakfast. Shin questions Yaha about her presence at the shrine and the ancient symbol there. Yaha recounts a natural disaster she tried to mitigate. They decide to thank Millie with a gift suggested by Schnee, who chooses elven treats made by Tiara. Shin is reminded that the Moon Sanctum can't sell food, as he alone can access the armory. Schnee updates Shin on Gerard, a high beast waiting for him, and suggests they meet him soon, though he is not in immediate danger. Shin plans their departure, with Tiara excited to travel with them for the first time. They prepare supplies, and Schnee plans to report the Skullface Lord's defeat to the capital. Shin intends to make swords and seek guild work to rank up. Forming a party for telepathic communication, they split up. Shin, forging swords, ensures Yaha doesn't touch the cursed ones. His first sword is too powerful, so he adjusts his efforts for the kingdom's market. This is the end of the video. Subscribe to the Anime Sphere Recaps channel for more anime recaps.